This is Darren with StrumPatterns.com, and in this video we're going to take a look at some tips on how to strum. Number one, first thing is how I'm actually striking the strings with the pick. So a lot of people will take the pick and it will go flat against the string. Okay, what I do is I turn the pick about 45 degrees so it strikes on the side of the pick as opposed to the flat portion of the pick. And by having it about 45 degrees, when it goes down, when I come back up, it's also still going to hit at 45 degrees. All right, and listen to the difference in the sound. Here's flat pick, and here's the side. Okay, did you notice there's a subtle difference? There's a little bit more roundness, and that's just a little more flat, a little more nasal. It's not that one is right and one's wrong, but it's a difference in sound. So being able to move between the different styles can be a nice thing you can add to your repertoire there. Okay, so that's the difference between turning, and I turn to where my thumb is facing down like that. Some people actually turn it the opposite direction to where kind of like their thumb is being underneath their index and play like that. I find that slightly more uncomfortable, but some people prefer it that way. I want us to pretend like you're doing a karate chop. We did this in the video on how to hold your guitar, and you're going to move from your elbow like a pendulum or like a grandfather clock or a metronome, okay? And one thing I want you to watch out for is that you're not coming away from the guitar at all like this. So you're not getting closer or further away from the strings as you move up and down. You want to stay at a steady distance as you play, okay? Another thing I want you to do is I want you to pretend that you're going to, or actually just let gravity do a lot of the work, okay? So as I come, I'm not so much driving my arm down as I'm just letting it fall, okay? And it's going through the strings like that, okay? So the same thing coming up. I have to use some force, but I'm not keeping like a strong stroke the entire way. Just enough to get me started, and that's it. So see how relaxed I'm staying as I move through this whole thing. And that's the key. That's why I want to move from my elbow and keep my wrist real relaxed, okay? As I said, if I'm playing something quick, I will use a little wrist flurry like that, but that's only if I want to play something very quickly. Another thing is don't keep your hand within the sound hole. Don't try to stop yourself too soon, okay? So a lot of players will start real close to the strings and then finish really, really close to the strings. But I want you to keep a wider arc like this. And again, that's going to help you stay more relaxed, and that's going to translate into a better sound. So for example, here it is keeping really narrowly. And here it is with that wider arc. Okay, so it's just more naturally easy to get a smooth, relaxed sound out of the guitar if you move in that wider motion. Okay, so that's a big advantage doing it that way. So one of the things I would suggest is start in the beginning while you're learning this, trying this out. Keep your pick above the wood of the guitar here and just let it drop through, and don't try to stop at all. Okay? So another thing to watch out for is the doorknob twist. Try not to do this. One of the problems with that is you're going to not know where your pick is in the air. It's harder to have more control over your stroke as you do that. So I would highly recommend staying away from that kind of a motion too. So for the most part, I'm moving, in a steady, fluid motion like this, just up and down. Another thing I've come across with my students is the tendency to really strike the strings, and that creates a really harsh kind of sound. And most of the time you want to create a nice, pleasant, particularly on an acoustic guitar, you want a pleasant sound to come out of your guitar. So I'm not striking the strings like that. I'm brushing them. So think of like a painter painting on a canvas. You want your strokes to be real delicate for the most part. There may be times they have more aggressive strokes, and yes, I know some of the real modernists would, attack the canvas. But for the most part, if you think about that famous painter on TV that talks about painting the fluffy clouds.
Let's build a happy little cloud. Let's build some happy little trees. There are no limits here. We start out by believing here.
Make that your stroke. Paint your strings with fluffy clouds, if you will. So those are some tips that should help you smooth out your sound to where you sound more like a professional. Okay, so hope those things help, and we'll see you in the next video. And that's it for this video, but it's not the end of the video series, so be sure to click here to catch the next video in the series. Also click here if you'd like to catch the very first video in the series. If you'd like to subscribe to my YouTube channel, click here so that you don't miss out on future videos. Leave any questions or comments you have down below. Also, you could follow me on Facebook, Google+, or Twitter by clicking here. And if you'd like to support me and keep these videos coming, you can click here to make a donation. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next video, and thank you for watching.